Oh, did I hear something about a law talk with Mike raid? What? 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 We are like big time now, sister. Like serious. Like important. Yeah. Do you know that? No? Tell him hi. Look, you're kind of blurry. You gotta get up closer. Say what's up. Some people might have missed you. You don't think so? I think so. I think they like you better than me. You're definitely cuter. No? All right. What's going on, everyone? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have been doing my job and compiling all of these follow-ups. Is my volume okay? I didn't test it before I got on because I was trying to like inhale some Chinese food. Now I've got like salt overload. Why do you eat leftover Chinese food? You should totally not eat leftover Chinese food. It's very dangerous. So, Pup's got a new bed. Won't touch it. Lay on the floor next to it. Yeah. So, I have been compiling all of these updates, and they have been sitting in a folder. And so, the past couple days, you've probably noticed I haven't put anything out. That's because I have been compiling on them all the individual videos with clips from the original and clips from the update for you. Close. She's a cavapoo, mostly poo. Lots of poo. Lots of poo. Hey, Miss Iris. So I don't even know where we should start. Yes, I do. So breaking news. I don't know if you guys saw this, but like legendary subscribe. I don't want to subscribe. Ted Kaczynski died. Wow. The Unabomber is no longer with us. He was in federal prison and he is gone. So I don't really know what to say to that because it's not really sad. He did a lot of damage. But anyways, so that's an update, but that's not the one you were looking for. So let's get rid of that one. And let's get to the good ones. So the most recent one is what we'll start with. I think you guys probably remember, whoops, too far. Judge Thomas just couldn't do it when it came to sentencing this guy. Let's watch it real quick.
What? You want me to sentence him within the guidelines? Is that what you're saying? And he got a 2-year max?
You know, some of these old offenses are date back quite some time.
I'm sorry?
I said some of these older offenses are over 10 years old, 12 years old. Dating back.
That's because he was in prison, assaulting a good guard.
I was, John. Correct.
I'm going to give it to you, okay? However, Mr. Casey?
Yes, Your Honor.
This just irritates me to the core of my bones, okay?
Yeah.
Now, I don't necessarily want to take the man's deal from him. I mean, but by the same token, I don't want to honor this.
Yeah, and if he withdraws his plea,
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll tell you what I do. I know how to handle this. I'm gonna recuse myself. Okay? I'm gonna recuse myself from this case. I don't think that I you know how every now and then I tell y'all I need to walk it off. I just, get up and stroll for a few minutes, let my blood pressure go down. Yeah, that's where I'm at on this. So I'm gonna recuse myself from this case, counsel, and Miss Emma gonna take it and she gonna send the whole package to another judge, and all of it to go as is.
So before we get to how this turned out, we have a special guest in the house.
Oh, hey, am I here?
You're here. Welcome. Welcome.
Okay.
Welcome.
I didn't know if you could. I sent you a thing. I didn't know if you knew I was there or not. I wasn't trying to be.
No, you were. I was just waiting for that to get over. Everybody say hi to Beefy. Beefy has anxiety. If you haven't seen his channel, you need to check it out. I will put some links up in just a minute when I get it.
Yeah, you're cool.
Right.
My bad. I wasn't trying to. I was sitting here just like, I had no
You're
idea
like,
if you could tell.
Look at me. Look, me.
I know. I'm sorry. That wasn't what I was trying to do. I'm so sorry.
So you're all good. So are you familiar with Judge Thomas?
I don't know if I've seen Thomas. I just checked out one of your clips earlier this morning, but I couldn't find like where her channel is. Is it YouTube?
Yes, but it's like impossible to find.
Yeah, because I looked.
You have to go through the courtroom. All right, there's the link. Y'all check out his channel. Go like, subscribe, and check out his stuff. You have to go through the virtual directory. She puts it up, takes it right back down, but she is a force, man. She is, whew. She's a trip too.
She seemed like she was definitely a little sassy. I saw earlier.
Oh yeah.
I like a judge with a little sass. Oh, look at the doggos! You got the pup cam.
We got the pup
This
cam.
is awesome.
Gotta have the pup cam. Maybe we should. Let's see. There. That's a little better.
Are those poodles?
It's a poodle and a morkie. She's a cavapoo, but she's mostly poodle. There's not much cav. They're such a pain. All right.
Give him pats. I want to give him pats so bad.
I would let you. Hold on. Let me mail them to you. What's your address?
Nice to finally meet you, by the way. We just kind of got
acquainted. Congrats. Yeah. I know. New friend of the channel, but that's cool. All right, y'all. So this is Judge Prentice Edwards. He was assigned the case that Judge, I see law nerds assembling. Yes, they are. That Judge Thomas just couldn't do it. She couldn't do it. So he said, I can do it. So just last week, he went ahead and he accepted the plea deal that Judge Thomas couldn't accept. And later this week, they were going to have a sentencing hearing. I don't believe he airs his hearings. I've tried to check a few times. I will keep checking and see what I can find out. But so far, it looks like that's going to go ahead and go forward without Judge Thomas's blessing. So, you know, he's going to get his deal after all. Even though she couldn't do it, somebody else is going to step in and do it for her. I don't know how we feel about that. Yeah.
Good old Judge Thomas. She looks like she's got a headache already. Yeah, she's already aggro.
Like, I can't do it. I can't. If you haven't seen this clip, you need to go check it out. When I'm done, I'm going to put all the links in the description. But she said to the prosecutor, did you make a mistake? Is your math wrong? It's not adding up. So, yeah, it was something else. So, the next update I have for you is, let's see if I can do this. Quick, hit pause. Oh, I didn't make those long enough. All right. The story of John Doe. So we learned about him way back when he popped up as a John Doe and captivated.
Oh, is this the guy? I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but is this the guy that wouldn't like give his name because he didn't want to like be admitted into the system?
Yes. We all
I love this dude.
Edge of our seats trying to figure out who John Doe was. At least 4 of us were, at least. Maybe 5.
Count me in.
5.
My little squirrel hand is raising. You can't see it.
And we really wanted to know what he was hiding because he refused to be fingerprinted. So here's a quick look at how it started out.
Mr. Doe, while this case is pending, okay, in this matter, there is no assaultive or combative behavior on your part. Do you understand that, sir?
Look at his eyes.
If you understand that, you can shake your head. Thank you. I take that affirmative response. Did you see?
He's just out of his mind.
He didn't even want to speak, right? Because I believe it's like sovereign beliefs that if you participate in any way, you're essentially conforming into the system and being like accepted into the registry or whatever they believe. I don't even know.
I'm not even sure he was sovereign. I think he was just completely blitzed out of his mind.
Oh,
So
okay.
he was just staring off into space, no clue where he was. So he was originally arrested. His only charge was refusing to be fingerprinted. That was it. If he had provided his name or information to the officers on scene, he probably wouldn't have been arrested. Because at the time, they didn't have any charges. He and a friend were in a stolen vehicle, and they had to do an investigation. So there was no actual charges that night related to the stolen vehicle. So he probably could have got off, but he was very impaired seeming and out of it. But the magistrate had to give him a bond, regardless of knowing who he was or not.
With the police.
Yeah, I mean,
he
not
just
showing
did not-
your ID to police is a quick way to get it overnight and stay in jail. If you guys ever like have nowhere to stay, just don't show your ID to a cop because you'll get a place to stay real quick overnight.
I know where there's free lodging. I need that clip. When I'm checking.
Give
Bill.
his
It must be an
name.
inside joke.
He refused or did not surrender to be fingerprinted. Okay, in this particular matter.
Oh yeah, he's staring at butterflies.
It's potentially counsel that he
He's
can be
way
charged
even.
with receiving, stealing stolen property, motor vehicle. He has not
He's
been
like
charged.
seeing things.
However, that charge is non-assaultive. I don't have any KPS history. I don't have any criminal history, anything as to that. I do not know if he has any other pending matters, any
Dude is on a wild ride right now.
criminal
He's peeking.
or
Look at him.
felony or misdemeanor matters. So in this particular matter, Mr. Doe, I'm telling you right now, no combative or assaultive behavior on your part, but I'm going to give you a $5,000 personal bond.
He's seeing mushrooms and little green men and
I want to know what he was looking at on the ceiling because he was fascinated with the ceiling for a few minutes.
it definitely looks like he's on some hallucinogens because he was like very interested in what he was looking at. It was like I said, staring at butterflies that weren't there.
Look, puppies on the ceiling.
Yeah.
So the magistrate gave him a $5,000 personal bond, and that was following the guidelines for a non-assaultive offense with no prior criminal history, which is what they had because they didn't know anything about him. Then, almost immediately after that, the prosecution filed for a motion for redetermination, and they argued that he shouldn't be released without a tether or something else because they didn't know his history. And then the defense countered that they didn't have a right to ask that because that was a very unusual motion that they filed. Bond redeterminations are automatically generated, and it's usually like 48 hours after the original. So he would have had a chance to get out if the prosecution hadn't done that. And so they got a little heated in the next hearing.
He refused to finger
Got 50 people in the chat, by the way.
fingerprint
Let's
at the
go.
time, which we were entitled to do because he was under investigation. I think under the statute of MCL 6764.29, you can order him to submit himself to the police agency or the sheriff to be fingerprinted. If he doesn't follow your orders, then I think it would be contempt. Either way, I think that we can continue to hold him without taking the fingerprints. But in the alternative, I'd ask for a cash bond and tether if not. My concern is that if someone doesn't want to give their fingerprints, because I've been doing this 31 years, is typically almost 100% of the time is because they're wanted on a warrant for something much more serious.
Note that she was in her recliner, but she did make a good argument. From her recliner.
Practicing law. Oh, I saw your About Me, by the way. Are you actually like a paralegal? Like you have a background in law?
I never actually worked in a law firm as a paralegal. I worked for other
Gotcha,
entities,
gotcha. That's cool though.
consulting firms and stuff. Hey, Sally, welcome, welcome. So yes, I was intending to go to law school and then life took me in a different direction and I never actually went, but.
Funny how life has a way of doing that, right?
Yes, it does. All right, so here's the defense's
So
argument.
respectfully, Your Honor, we're still asking this court to continue his personal bond, order him to be submitted to the Wayne County Sheriff to get his fingerprints done.
Reclining
And when his
law.
fingerprints come back, then they have the opportunity to address if he has prior warrants. they will know if he has prior warrants, and we could go through this process again. But until then, I don't believe we should be holding him on non-assaultive allegations.
I love this guy.
Non-assaultive allegations and speculation that we know nothing about.
Well,
Facts.
thank you, counsel. Everything's been placed on the record, okay? Bond is still gonna stay $10,000, 10% GPS tether, home arrest. Counsel also, he is gonna have a bond redetermination. It will be tomorrow.
Can you pause? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
I love these attorneys. We got Lazy Boy Lucy there in the corner, just literally just chilling. And then we got the homeboy Baird over there, just like popping off for his homie.
He's all about it. We don't know what he did. It's all good. It's all good. We don't know. We don't know. Who cares? Just go with it. It's all good. It's okay. He'll be
That's
fine.
awesome. Great counsel.
Like, put your fingerprints on the machine.
Honestly, if I was in trouble, I want that dude as my attorney.
Wait till you see the one later on with the non-contact. So the magistrate was a little confused on what to do, but she took a break, consulted with some colleagues, and increased his bond, which he couldn't pay. So he sat in jail for a while. And then apparently the following day, he went ahead and submitted his fingerprints. And he didn't have anything crazy that would have made it different. So I don't know why he was refusing, except, maybe he just had
under the influence is what that sounds like to me.
Oh, wait, no, I missed one. So the following day, he had a hearing with Judge McConico, who's the head judge. I'm sorry, I forgot a hearing. This is the following day.
Okay. It's my understanding, counsel, your client is refusing to come in front of the screen, and he's being uncooperative for this proceeding.
So the following day, he completely
Bryant, let's go! I love Judge Bryant. Sorry, I got a little excited.
She elicits that response in people.
Yeah.
She's walking down the street and people jump up and down and go, oh, "It's Bryant!"
Yeah.
Let's go.
I did a Judge Bryant hearing on my
sweet
channel, and
Jesus.
it's like by far like my most successful court hearing is Judge Bryant. Oh, sweet Jesus!
I just did a profile on her and compiled all of her most.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. That sounds awesome.
from Law Talk with Mike, so you can hear Mike's giggle in there. It's perfect.
Nice.
It's hard to listen to those clips and not think of his giggle.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, after that hearing, then he gave his fingerprints, went in front of Judge Bryant. Judge Bryant went ahead and released him because there was no reason to hold him. There was nothing going on. So about 3 weeks later, he had, I think it was a probable cause hearing in front of Judge Bryant. So, and this is the major update. This is the update. All that was the lead up. This is the update that most of you guys probably didn't know about.
All right. I think we're on break until 12 o'clock.
Judge, I just have a question about Mr. Kevin Smith on the
we got Ritter
docket.
in the house. She does not fuck around.
Oh, and we determined his name is Kevin Smith, although some people call him Keith Smith. He's actually in the system as Kevin Smith, so I don't know what his actual name is.
That's a fake name.
Smith, K. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to pull up the case in the JIS to see whether or not I can tell whether or not Mr. Smith has been fingerprinted. I do have a call in to Ms. Gray to try to verify that.
You feel like he don't have to come to court if he got fingerprinted?
Only if he's in jail, which is where he was last time.
I'm so sorry.
Well,
It's fine.
Okay, I
I
didn't
don't
know.
know. Mr. Flanagan could tell you maybe. I don't know. What's your question to me?
If he's in jail, can we take care of it without him being present?
Mm-mm.
Or, okay.
Did you come bring him on? Miss Ritter, was she asking you?
No,
Oh, I thought she was because you was shaking your head.
I'm sorry, dude.
Over here to my work, so I'm not looking at the screen seeing
Oh,
those
yeah.
things.
Okay. Well, I was wondering if Miss Ritter was going to be. Okay. The jail could just bring him on. If he's still in jail, then they could verify. They could verify if he's been fingerprinted. If he's in jail this long, I'm sure he's been fingerprinted by now. Then it'll be up to Miss Ritter
Yeah, don't be so
if
sure.
she's what she's going to do with that. So Maybe we can call over to the jail, Mr. Flanagan, to see if he's here.
Yeah, same.
See if he's in jail. I don't know why he's wasn't brought.
Kevin Smith?
Yeah, Kevin Smith.
Okay.
And then we're gonna give everybody else at the 8:30 a new date, but I feel like I crowded up that June 12th date already.
Ms. Stevenson, he was fingerprinted.
Gorgeous.
Okay.
We had a tether violation hearing on the 3rd of April.
Right. Right. Wait, this might be Ms.
Oh, is that the?
Gray.
I thought this was the one I don't know.
Hello, this.
I'll act like I remember all the tether violation hearings.
Little golf clap.
Okay, well, there's still a John Doe.
Miss Stevenson, you talking to us?
Yes, there's still a John Doe in the jail, but no Kevin Smith that I can see.
Oh, I think he was the John Doe. And then the jail said they confirmed that his name was Kevin Smith. I may have had them change him to Kevin Smith.
Okay, well,
Mr. Flanagan, can you ask the jail, is John Doe Kevin Smith?
Yep, I'm calling now.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay, well, yeah, they might still have him as John Doe. But I thought they told me, they confirmed. At some point, I remember somebody confirming that John Doe was one of my defendants.
Oh, wait, here's a booking number. This.
I feel like Ms. Stevenson trying not to let me take a half-hour break.
No, I'm not doing that. Okay.
Your Honor.
Ms. Ritter.
Yes.
Let's go, Ms. Ritter.
So Kevin Smith was released on April the 4th. The guy I spoke to actually remembered him. So yeah, he said he was released on April 4th from the Wayne County Jail. And you have 13 matters June 21st.
Oh, Kevin
So
Smith.
if I put and is that are the magistrates that far out? I don't think so.
62 people in the live. Let's go.
So he didn't show up for Judge Bryant's court. So I guess the way it works in her courtroom is if you don't show up, then she schedules another hearing. And if you don't show up for that hearing, then they put the warrant out. It's not instant the first time you don't show up. I don't know if that's unique to like Wayne County or if that's just a Judge Bryant rule. So that hearing is scheduled for June 21st. So if he doesn't show up for that hearing, he'll have a warrant out. But in looking up that hearing to see what was going on, I found out they did bring additional charges against him eventually for the unlawful driving of an automobile.
Ooh, the plot
Not stolen
thickens.
vehicle, but unlawful driving of an automobile. I have not heard that one before. So I can't tell if he ever appeared for an arraignment on it, but he was given a $1,000 PR bond. It could have been more of a stolen
like
vehicle.
he didn't have a license, unlawful driving. I mean,
he and his friend were allegedly in a stolen vehicle. That was what was said when it first happened.
That sounds like they took a car they didn't necessarily have permission to take, but it's not like Grand Theft Auto. Like it might be a family member.
Right, something along those lines.
Yeah, like grandma doesn't want to charge him with Grand Theft Auto, but he didn't exactly ask grandma to take the car.
Don't take my car. Don't take my Cadillac. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this one, I found these. Aaliyah Sabri, I think is how you say your last name. I'm not positive. Was out this day, and Judge Kenneth King, who is amazing, was filling in for her. And this is the quick hearing for the unlawful driving of an automobile.
Let's go.
Ms. Hamilton, are you ready?
Great bow tie.
Yes, I need to pull over, but otherwise.
I can't hear you.
Yes, I just need to pull over.
That's a good idea.
Their name is Vanessa Hamilton.
Good morning, Your
That's
Honor.
gotta be
Vanessa
incorrect,
Hamilton,
right?
PH107
okay.
on behalf of Mr.
He's down as Kevin Smith, but I've been informed his name is actually Keith Smith Jr.
John Doe, whatever you want to call him.
What's your pleasure, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe I'm in need of digital discovery in this case still. Otherwise, we'd like to set it for a preliminary exam date if possible.
Can you pause?
Mm-hmm.
Is this public defender, or did he actually go out and hire an attorney?
Public defender.
Okay.
I believe that's what it looked like, because then she's replaced at some point with Neighborhood Defender Service in the title. I believe. I'm not positive. It doesn't really give you a lot of information in the docket.
Continue the plea of not guilty and set this matter for preliminary examination on
April 13th at 9:30, Your Honor.
April 13th at 9:30. Is that a good date and time?
Give me 1 second, I believe it is. Yes, that's fine.
April 13th at 9:30. Bond will be continued.
Thank
Honor,
you.
if I'm just convey to defense counsel, the people do not have any digital at this time, but I went ahead and reached out to the OLC to inquire if they do have any. This was done 2 days ago. I have not received a reply nor any additional digital.
Same.
If you believe that there should be, please reach out to me directly by next Monday, and I will continue to try to reach out to the OIC and get it resolved for you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, she's got the definition of a high-need client.
Yes. And then following this hearing, I found the April 13th hearing, and believe it or not, neither John Doe / Kevin Smith / Keith Smith Jr. nor his attorney showed up for the hearing. So
Vanessa bailed on him?
Vanessa bailed on him, apparently.
That wasn't very nice.
There's been no update to the record, so I think they're kind of waiting to see what goes on with Judge Bryant's capious hearing. So, right?
Get Fox 4 ready. TV references. Oh, look, it's lots of. That's awesome.
I don't know what she's talking about. I got Fox Sports for days.
Fox Sports for days.
So we're kind of on hold with that one. But I did find an interesting little update for someone we haven't seen in a very, very, very long time.
I gotta say though, that was a great little package you put together with closure and everything. It was just, this is so fun. I get to just hop in and be a spectator. I don't have to do any work.
Somebody else did all the work for me. This is great.
Yes, it's so great. I love this. I could do this any day of the week. Just pop in.
Oh my God, Iris, they both got the shrooms. Yeah, there's two puppy butts right there.
Yeah, they are sleepy puppies.
They are definitely not going to put on a show for us, but
oh no, they were going at it earlier. They were tugging away with their toys and just they're very active puppers.
That's surprising. Usually, as soon as I turn this on, they're either in my lap to, hog the screen, and then they pass out and are worthless.
I have a senior pug who he had both of his eyes removed from glaucoma, and
oh,
so
God.
yeah, it's okay. No, he's not.
Appropriate reaction.
It's okay. He's not doing so well, but yeah, by comparison, he sleeps like 23 hours a day. So these dogs look like they just, ate a bag of sugar. By comparison, they were so hyperactive by what I'm used to.
What's funny is I gave them hemp treats like maybe an hour before the stream started because it started storming outside. So they should be like knocked out, and instead they're running around like Indy 500.
So is that like the CBD stuff? Because I did notice that like Boots and stuff, they sell CBD treats for dogs.
I didn't get CBD. It's just the hemp ones from Amazon, the calming treats. It has that.
Yeah.
Whatever that stuff is that's in turkey that's supposed to make you tired.
Tryptophan. I think it's the same same strain though, the same idea though. Just basically like calming treats, like you're saying.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys remember Marcy. Marcy was in the Knox County Jail and is probably the reason that Knox County no longer live streams their arraignments or bond hearings.
She looks like a bag of fun.
I thought maybe some people might not have seen Marcy. And
I've never seen Marcy.
Go watch the original stream, but I wanted to watch Marcy again. So we're going to watch Marcy again.
Is this the original
3
clip you
counts
were
of
referring to?
aggravated
Yes, this
assault.
is the original.
Each of
Okay.
those would be a Class C felony if convicted, and you've been charged with resisting a stop, arrest, or a search. There'd be a Class B misdemeanor if convicted.
Sure.
You understand what you're charged with?
Yes,
Would you like me to read the allegations?
yes.
Oh, you got a kitty cat too. Animal lover, fellow animal lover. I love
I have
it.
a zoo.
Says this incident occurred on or about Saturday, January 28th, 2023 at 5:36 p.m. Officer Lee and I responded to the listed address for a domestic matter. Upon arrival, I spoke with Marcy Turpin, and she stated that she and her mother, Gwen Turpin, were in an argument. Marcy stated that her mother had consumed 6 beers and was trying to leave in a car. During the argument, Gwen shoved Marcy. Marcy was given a blue card and advised of legal remedies. Gwen was not home during the investigation. This occurred in Knoxville, Knox County, Tennessee. At 6:25 p.m., we responded back to the same address. When we arrived, 3 victims, Ira Turpin, Michael Caldwell, and Tana Craze, all stated that Marcy Turpin tried to stab them with a knife. Ira stated that she came at with the knife in her hand and attempted to stab.
Marcy takes no S. I love her. She looks like a bag of fun.
You haven't seen nothing yet, honey.
Do not mess with Marcy because she has those hands. Like she wants the smoke and is not afraid to use it.
Just wait. Just wait. Just wait.
Okay.
Marcy,
I'm
Marcy will tell you how it is.
With bated breath. I love her already.
Tana stated she tried to stab her too. Michael stated that she did make contact with the knife and the palm of his hand, but there was no injury. They were able to get the knife away from her. A green steak knife was on a shelf by the door. Ira and Michael both described the knife as a green steak knife and said she tried to stab everyone by holding the knife above her head and pointed at the
Dude, going to
victims
Cracker
and jerking
Barrel
it
with
down in their
Marcy, I'm
direction.
down. Sign me up. Any day of the
Lee
week,
and I
I'll go to
attempted
Cracker Barrel
handcuff
with Marcy.
but she fought us for approximately 2 to 4 minutes. While struggling with her, she tried to pull away and made noises.
Wiggly, wiggly.
In parentheses, it says cleared her throat, as if she was going to spit on Officer Lee. I held her head on the ground so she couldn't spit on him. She then tried to bite us. Sergeant Lamb assisted us and eventually had to tase her in the back. We were able to get her in handcuffs. When we put her in the car, she kicked at the door and window. Officer Lee held her on the ground until the wagon arrived.
Wild.
She is being arrested for 3 counts of aggravated assault and resisting arrest. All parties stated that Gwen did not shove Marcy. This occurred in Knox County,
I'm a
Tennessee.
boss ass bitch.
A citation was not issued because this is domestic violence, and officers shall arrest the primary aggressor. Okay, you have some rights I need to go over. The first is that you have the right to remain silent. No one can force you to make any statements. Any that you make voluntarily can be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, I can appoint one for you. And you have the right to a preliminary hearing, that is a probable cause hearing, where the judge will hear the evidence against you and decide whether this case is strong enough to be bound over the grand jury for further prosecution. You understand those rights?
Yes.
Would you like me to appoint an attorney to represent you?
Yes.
Okay, I need to ask you some questions on oath to make sure you qualify, as well as to set your bond. So you raise your right hand and be sworn in. This is the uniform affidavit of indigency that you filled out of jail. You swear or affirm that everything you filled out on this form, any testimony you give is true and accurate?
Yes.
Thank you. You have a job? Let me get through this first and I'll take your question.
Okay.
You have a job?
No.
Any property, a house or a car that you own?
Nope.
Any other forms of income or of assets?
What?
Any other forms of income or of assets?
No, I know.
Like phones?
Anything that you could sell to make money?
Do you have any income or assets? Like phones?
Oh, there's the doggos. They're so cute.
You know,
look at them.
Nowadays phones are so expensive, they could probably bond you out of a lot.
Yeah, really.
No. Sorry.
And you live in Knoxville?
Yes.
How long you lived here?
I was born and raised in UT Hospital.
Born and raised in the hospital.
Yes. Well, yeah, in the Knoxville area, yeah, but not in jail.
Who would that be?
For my family,
Correct.
like in here or out there?
Yeah. What are your relatives that are in jail with you? Just wondering.
He's got a whole family.
I mean, I'm not worried. In Knoxville, I'm not trying to figure out who you know in jail. I'm trying to figure out your ties to the Knoxville community.
My mom, Wynn Johnson, my brother, my stepfather, my dad, my grandmother, and my cousin, and actually a lot of them actually.
And
Everybody.
is there anybody that would vouch for your liability to show up in court?
Probably the victims, probably my mom.
That's not a good sign.
Probably.
Okay, so I'm going to set the bonds on the aggravated assaults at, well, first the resist, I'm going to set at 1,000. And on the aggravated assaults, I'm going to set it at 10,000 each. So that's 31,000 total. As a condition of those aggravated assaults, 2 of them are charged as domestic, 1 is not. For the 2 that are domestic, you would be prohibited from committing or threatening to commit assault against the alleged victim or victims or other family or household members. You would be prohibited from harassing, annoying, telephoning, contacting, or otherwise communicating with the alleged victim, either directly or indirectly through someone else. You'd be directed to vacate and to stay away from the home of the alleged victims and to stay away from any other location alleged victims are likely to be.
That's not going to happen. Oh, great. You're violating. Yeah, you're already telling them you're going to violate your bond.
All right.
Right at the onset, she's telling this guy, I'm not going to follow your bond conditions.
Oh, just wait. It's building up. She's about to explode. Ready?
Meltdown incoming.
Yeah, you got to listen though.
Sound the sirens. Okay, I'm sorry.
If it doesn't happen, I don't know what you mean, whether it means you're going to stay away or...
I'm gonna go back and I'm actually kill all of them. Be honest.
Oh boy!
Well, I mean, do I need to revoke your bond? I can't constitutionally do that.
Because I'm just actually fed up with my family. Because when I catch them asleep, they're gone.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Rather than 10,000, I'm going to set them each at 25,000.
Nice.
I'll take things to get my bail raised for 100, Alex.
Yeah, how to double your bond in 2 seconds. This is like that Anchorman clip. It's, wow, that escalated quickly. You really got out of hand there.
And you'd be prohibited from using or possessing a firearm while on bond, should you post it. And you'd be prohibited from possessing or consuming alcohol or controlled substances while on bond. The alleged victims in those are Gwen Turpin and Michael Caldwell.
Look at that, yeah.
And then for the other one,
explosion incoming.
You'd not have any contact or communication with the alleged victim.
This dude better be careful. Marcy will cut a
who
bitch.
Is Ira.
Are you serious?
No, it's Hannah Craze. And I'm gonna set these in.
She has definite ideas. Yeah, she got plans.
They're getting it when I get home.
I'm gonna set these in felony court on Tuesday. So if you're unable to make this bond, then the judge can reconsider it at that time. If you do post it, they will give you a different court date to go to when you've been released. Go to that one instead.
82 people in the chat, by the way.
Really, really mad.
They have the number of the public defender's office to jail. Try and get a hold of them prior to your court date. Excuse me, I've not gotten that far. Getting ahead of myself.
So anyways, Marcy goes on to repeat herself a few more times. Needless to say.
But make sure you state as many times as possible your murder plans. That's always a good plan.
Like, how many times can I put this on a record that how many people see?
Just want to make sure there's adequate evidence for premeditation. You know, just make sure it's good and clear on there, nice and concise.
And so I was looking at her like, oh, poor thing. You know, she got in a fight with her mom. She got arrested. And then she starts saying that. When I watched this the first time, it was a Sunday night. I was laying in bed, flipping through the channels. And then I saw this and I sat up and like, are you serious?
Honestly, my opinions haven't changed that much. She still looks like a good time. I want to hang out with Marcy still. I'll risk incoming stabbings. Charlotte,
So,
what's up?
Marcy got her bond raised significantly. What are you doing? You're getting tangled up in the cam cord. Sorry, cat issues.
You're
I
good.
told you it's a zoo around here. Literally.
We all have them.
3 cats, 2 dogs. What was I thinking? So Marcy actually did not get out until I don't know where my book of.
Oh, where's my shocked face?
She didn't get out until not very long ago. So as
Can I
I'm
get a
putting
bunch
together-
of can I get a bunch of shocked faces in the chat?
Yeah.
Shocked
Oh.
emojis. Oh, really?
After spending like 3 months in jail, they finally said, okay, you can go home if you promise to be good. And they gave her all the conditions, stay away, and all that. Well, so Marcy gets out and she's not out for 2 or 3 weeks.
There she is, Queen Marcy.
And Marcy's back in Knox County Jail for aggravated assault, domestic, aggravated assault, domestic, aggravated assault. Resist, stop, arrest, search. So.
Wow, she does not mess around.
Yeah, Marcy's not as sweet as we thought. Marcy's got a little gangsta in her. She's a little badass, hardcore.
I'll tell you, if Fuck Around and Find Out had a arrest picture, this is it.
I think she's got that tattooed right here on her chest with some wings coming out of it or something like that.
that is the come get these hands stare down.
It's shocking, right? Like I never would have guessed. So anyways, anybody who was wondering, Marcy did not kill anybody that I can see. However, she is back in jail. So I'm really sorry. You'll have to write her a letter. I don't believe they allow conjugal visits in Knox County.
Oh, Milton Copper's in here too. What's up, bro? He was over in Alistair's chat last night. It's my podcast host.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So that's Marcy. Everybody knows what's going on with Marcy. So since we go from Marcy, let's go to the other end of the spectrum and check in with our favorite creepy.
Oh, I just did a video on this guy. This is Darth Kermit. So funny.
Mr. Johnson.
This guy is ridiculous. I'm so happy we're watching this.
We have to check in with Mr. Johnson.
Okay, wait, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Is this like a second hearing? Or is this the original one where he's, I'm not gonna say that, blah, blah, blah.
Yes, this is the original hearing. I actually have notes on Mr. Johnson because he has had so much stuff.
Oh, this is great. I'm so happy you invited me.
So, this is Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
All right.
Who has the worst possible camera positioning, like possible. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
sorry,
unless you want to see like a big fat neck and dark creepy.
What is with these Zoom
get into
litigants and like not being able to just hold the phone still? Like I'll never understand it. It's like they put the phone on and just start wiggling their arm around everywhere. It's like just sit still for Christ's sakes.
I don't understand it. So
Me either.
If a guilty plea is accepted, there'll be no trial. That means you're giving up the rights that you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You do have the right to a speedy.
So creepy.
Mr. Johnson, if you're going to interrupt me, I'm going to hold you in contempt.
I'm sorry.
This is not a funny matter.
yeah, I think he thought it was funny. I'm not sure why he thought that was funny, but that was creepy as fuck.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like a contemptuous laugh, like a petulance. You know what I mean? Like for the system.
Yeah, but you just pictured him sitting in a little white creepy van. I don't know.
Yeah, really. It was very much like I said, Darth Sidious.
Yeah.
So it's treason then.
So Mr. Johnson owed an excessive amount of back child support and was making a deal to address it because there was felony charges brought against him. And under Michigan law, failure to pay child support can be punishable by up to 4 years in prison. And this is the 750.165 outlines what the charges are. But this is what happened.
You give a background. I love this.
When they got to the plea portion, where all he had to do was say, yes, I plead guilty.
How do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about September 1st, 2018 through September 30, 2019, in the city of Adrian, County of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of failing to pay child support?
I accept the plea.
If you want
Can
to
we get a
plead
link
guilty,
to the
you need
live
say
stream
guilty.
for that judge?
You want me to say guilty? Okay, fine.
If you want to plead guilty to this offense, then you need to say that you
The
plead
lawyer's
guilty.
face.
I accept the plea.
That's not,
Mr.
that's not a
Johnson.
guilty plea. So if that's all you're going to say, Mr. Johnson, then I'm going to continue your not guilty plea and we'll proceed to trial on January 25th.
I never entered a not guilty plea.
Yes, you
Mr.
did.
Johnson, there are two pleas available, guilty or not guilty. Which do you choose today? Guilty or not guilty?
He is laying in bed.
They want the not guilty or the guilty, so that's
Well,
fine.
no,
Oh, yeah,
Mr.
he's sullied
Johnson,
up this
it's a
record
matter
too
of
much.
what you want to do today. Do you want to plead
No,
guilty
it's
or
not a
not
matter of
guilty?
what I want to do.
So Mr. Johnson refused to say the words, and he continued his man-child meltdown for a few more minutes until the judge finally set the matter for trial. He apparently worked something out with the prosecution before that trial date came, and they accepted whatever plea, probably in writing. And he was supposed to start paying a certain amount every month to pay down the $12,000 child support that he owed.
Hey, Meg.
Yeah.
Can I throw out a plug really quick for my channel?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You gave me one earlier and it was so appreciative, but I cover that full hearing on my channel. If you want to check it out, I think I titled it Darth Kermit Will Not Agree or something like that. But yeah, if you want to see the full hearing of that, me and a buddy of mine from YouTube, Nasan, we do commentary on that full hearing. So after this live stream, obviously, check out BP Has Anxiety and that video's up there.
And I just threw the link in the chat. So click on it, go subscribe so you can find it when we're done and don't have to try and remember where it's at like I would do.
Oh, thank you so much.
I don't know. I
You're
don't
so
know.
sweet.
I don't know. So we caught up with Mr. Johnson again when I did the follow-up, and he actually looked a little bit different. He was still in the dark, but his neck was much smaller. And he apparently had some health issues, but he still failed to make payments.
Rhonda Underwood for Mr. Johnson this morning.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He lost so much weight.
It's my understanding that we had today set as
Good on him, though.
more of a check-in date to determine whether Mr. Johnson was making.
I'm sorry, can you
payments
pause?
and whether to.
I hope he's healthy. That's like crazy that he lost that much weight.
This is about 3 or 4 months later, but yes, he did have some health issues. I'm not sure what they were. They didn't really
I
talk
was gonna
about it.
say, if he's able to lose that much weight in a healthy way, that's a huge accomplishment. And he should be really proud of himself.
No,
But it
I don't
doesn't
think
sound like
it was healthy.
Yeah, I think he's sick. That's too bad.
Delay
Nobody deserves that.
The sentence, is that accurate, Ms. Brenner?
No, Your Honor, he had been already placed on the delay of sentence and he has not been complying with the terms. So I had asked to accelerate the sentence date to this date. He had been set for sentencing at December of this year. And I asked to move it up because he's failed to make his $100 a month payments and he's also failed to comply with probation.
Welcome.
Your Honor, I've spoken with Mr. Johnson both yesterday and this morning. Mr. Johnson's had some health issues, but that's no excuse. He understands he has to meet with the probation department and get the pre-sentence done, Your Honor. And he will do that. He also understands, and I've reiterated to him, that he can't wait on payments. he needs to make the $100 a month payment. I would ask the court, a pre-sentence needs to be done. I would ask the court to allow
not a lot of
Mr.
money.
Johnson to come in next week and get his packet and get that done. And then we'll set a sentencing date and Mr. Johnson can be sentenced at that time.
Can you pause really quick?
Mhm.
I mean, $100 a month, that's $25 a week.
Yep.
I mean, it does not take a lot to scrounge up that much money. I mean, he's just basically thumbing his nose at the court by not paying that.
And he didn't show up for to sign into probation either. So.
Oh, you got
Yeah.
some donated memberships from Debbie Faison Cook. Thanks, Debbie.
Thank you, Debbie.
And Your Honor, he pled in January. I made crystal clear on the record at that time that he had to be making $100 a month payments. He confirmed he understood. He's failed to comply with probation and preparing the PSI. So I'm going to ask for him to be remanded to custody so that the PSI can be prepared at this time.
Your Honor, I would hope the court would allow Mr. Johnson until next week to get into the probation department and get this done. He has been trying to get back to work, Your Honor. I would hope we can give him till next week to get in and get this done so we can get things back on the right track.
I'm going to set this.
Okay. So. No, I forgot where I was.
We are one person away from 100 people in here. Let's go. If somebody can try to drag somebody in here to get 100 people, and that would be awesome.
I'm going to set this over for 1 week for Mr. Johnson to come to the courthouse, pick up his PSI packet and fill it out and do his interview with the probation officer. I'm going to set the actual sentencing date for May 12th.
Okay.
Do you think he ever gets sentenced?
So here we are, May 12th. I have the May 12th hearing. And
Oh, we
Mr.
did it.
Johnson,
We had 100 people. Sorry to interrupt. We had 100 people.
You're
Let's
all
go.
good. Mr. Johnson has done the unthinkable.
No.
All right, Ms.
found
Underwood,
daylight.
Mr. Johnson is here now. He is getting his audio connected. Are you going to need a breakout session, Mr. Johnson?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
All right.
Looks like he put some more weight on too. Maybe he's
Your Honor,
getting
just
back on
briefly
track to be
before we
healthy.
go on.
Okay.
I've spoken with Mr. Schimpf and I've
This guy's like
explained Mr.
Clayface.
Johnson's
He just shifts his
circumstances. and
body
that,
all over the place.
he was current through March. He has had some slowdown with his employer.
Now the attorney has issues.
Of course. This case is
Are you there,
doomed
Ms. Underwood?
day one.
Ms. Underwood is currently having a connection issue. We'll give that a second to see if it resolves itself.
But he has also done
All right,
something
Ms.
else
Underwood is
miraculous.
here, physically present in the courtroom at this point. Ms. Underwood, if you want to step to the podium.
I apologize, my battery.
Nostril cam.
No problem.
Or battery. Like if you know you have court and you're on a laptop or something, like get a charger.
Yeah, how do you not plug your, if you know you're going into
As I
Zoom
was
hearing,
saying,
it's the
Your Honor,
first thing I do.
I've spoken with Mr. Schimpf about this, and with the court's permission, we would like this put out till the end of June for Mr. Johnson to get current, and if not, the sentencing
What
would
is
be
he
accelerated.
doing with his camera? Did he put it in his pocket?
All right. Well, my understanding was that we were accelerating the
down.
sentencing because he was not current after pleading guilty. So, Mr.
Right.
Schimpf, is this something that you're in agreement with?
Yeah, so he has had so many extensions to get this paid for. The judge is like, all right, I'm done. No, why should I give you another extension? But
Yeah,
you're
really.
not going to believe this.
Yeah, he did come up with additional funds in March so that I believe he is only a couple of months behind, and I'm willing to extend this to the end of June with the understanding that he would become current at that time. And if
Person that
not,
deserves
then we
a break
proceed to
the
the
least.
sentencing.
Unbelievable.
So he came up with the majority of a $12,000 balance in just a couple months.
So he had the money all along.
Or he won the lottery?
All right,
No,
Mr.
he was choosing not to pay. That's what that means. What a I was gonna say a bad
See
word.
Mr.
What
Johnson
a
on the
mean
screen
man.
anymore. It looks like he turned his camera off. Mr. Johnson, are you
I'm
there?
sorry. Can you pause one more time?
I'm here.
Yes.
You know what the real tragedy in that is? It's the kids that ultimately suffer. His children. Like, it's not the court that he's ultimately thumbing his nose at. It's his own effing kids, and that's really sad, and it makes him not a great person. Like, I want to say bad things, but I'm not going to. It's just
I think we're
not
all
a nice,
thinking it.
not a nice man to have that much money in your bank account and just deny your kids. Probably like clothing and food is what that money would have gone towards, which is really, really messed up.
Well, let's hope they have a mother that took care of them.
You know,
while he
don't
was
have
failing.
and just don't have kids if you're gonna do that. You know, that's like buying a dog and keeping it in the crate 12 hours a day. Just don't get a dog.
Right.
I don't know what happened.
Sorry, I'm getting worked up.
All right.
Good. You're good.
Okay, so I will then adjourn this to June 29th at 8:15 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So, June 29th, it sounds like we have one more Mr. Johnson and we are done with Mr. Johnson. I will be happy to be done with Mr. Johnson. I hope you will too, because I don't want any more jokes about Mr. Johnson's Johnson. Because y'all make some lewd jokes in the chat, let me tell you. Okay, we got 3 more. Which one is this? Oh, here's a good one. Do y'all remember no contact guy? No contact means no contact, and he couldn't figure out what no contact means because he kept contacting but then swearing that he didn't contact. Yeah, we got an update on him too. Could you like unattach yourself? Jeez. All right. So this was a Judge Dad special, and if you haven't seen this one, you really have to go check it out because, wow.
And I sympathize with you. It's not fair. It's absolutely not fair.
And Your Honor, there was one other concern that people wanted to address regarding a potential contact violation involving.
If he had contact, we're talking about a whole different.
Sorry, I had to go to the bathroom.
You know he wouldn't have done that. You're not suggesting the defendant had violated the no contact.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because the defendant violating a no contact on a third offense domestic violence would know that any judge between here and Tuscaloosa would have a big problem with that. So you're gonna put on evidence of this right now, or are you going to simply bring it up?
When you say Judge Dad, are you talking about McNally?
Yeah.
That's great, Judge Dad. He is very much America's father. I've seen a few videos where he daddies up on. But you know what? Like his advice, it stands. Like it's not like he's actually just coming down. He's like he genuinely cares about them. Like, even though he may be saying, you know, not so nice things, it's stuff they ultimately need to hear. It's like the painful truth that only a dad would give you. I love it.
So I made him a. I'm sorry for making you an internet sensation gift, and I wrote him an apology letter because that's what you do to Dad when you do something wrong. You write a letter telling them that you're sorry. So I made him a present for his desk with an apology for making him YouTube famous.
That's so sweet of you.
And told him he will always be my Judge Dad.
He's my dad too, my Judge Dad.
Ew, don't talk about my dad like that.
Yeah, that's weird.
Your Honor, I think the court.
He
will
does have a
take
certain
evidence.
machismo, though. I'll say that.
Yes, with Ms. Plaintiff here.
He was steaming in that one. So what happened was there was a no contact order between the defendant and his ex-girlfriend. He was ordered
A
to stay.
judge looks like he would beat up Chuck Norris. Richie is here. What's up, man? That's awesome.
Nice.
He's
He
a
was
professional
ordered to stay
wrestler. That's my buddy.
2 miles away. 2 miles. I've never heard of a no contact order that's quite that far. But hey, you know, it is what it is. So they come to court and it's reported he's coming to court because he wants his bond changed so he can go back to a certain residence. And while they're there, the prosecution's like, oh, by the way, yeah, we just heard that he drove by while she's picking up the kids from school and like looked out the window and smiled and waved. He's like, I did not. Look, my mom's here. She'll testify. So they put mom on the stand and she starts reciting what he told her to say. And slowly it transitions into the truth. And she basically says, yeah, he was there. So, yeah. And additionally, he texted her, but he has this whole story about how it was a mistake. He got home and his daughter was sick upstairs. And he went down to his room in the basement and he was texting his daughter and her name began with a K and the ex's name began with a K. And he accidentally texted the ex instead of the daughter. And it's like, she's in the same house as you and she's sick. Why would you go downstairs and text her and not go up to the room and check on her? But whatever.
Weak sauce.
Yeah. So Judge Dad was not having it. He was not happy. And the problem was
Judge Dad.
There was protocol wasn't followed. So there weren't official reports of these violations.
I think this was a bond violation. I'm not going to forfeit your bond. But I want to reiterate, apparently I did not do a very good job the first time. I want to reiterate how serious I am about this bond condition. You're in deep water right now. I mean, you're presumed innocent, but if you're convicted of domestic violence third, you're going to have a big problem. And you're not going to make things any better by having any kind of contact. Ms. Duco, if he has any contact with you again, you contact the officer in charge. You tell him exactly what happened. He will then come in and he will swear out a bond violation. And then I will immediately revoke the release, forfeit the bond, and issue a warrant pending a hearing. And then you're going to have a big problem. I wouldn't go anywhere near the school.
That is not
I told you not
okay.
to be within 2 miles of her residence or place of employment. There is nobody, certainly not as intelligent as you, that would misunderstand that order. There is nobody that would start thinking it's okay to wave and smile and drive by somebody doing so. I'm telling you, I'm not going to take any action today. Next time, if there's anything like this, you're not going to be this lucky, I promise you. If you think 11 days was bad, the bond, I hope you have a lot of money because it will be high.
I was almost waiting for him to say, I'm not just mad, I'm disappointed.
Yeah. Do better. So he upped his bond, sent him back, scheduled a hearing for, is it a week or two later? Let's see. Text in the... Oh no, the text hadn't happened yet. My apologies. That was just the drive-by in the car. So they come back a week or two later and that's when the text happened. And so they're in there talking about the text. And while they're discussing the text message, the victim is in another part of the courthouse and apparently receives a phone call. And this is somewhat problematic because he has been told so many times, don't contact her in any way, shape, or form. But he's doing these very shady, questionable things to try and, skirt around the edge of the rules, but then everything's an accident. Everything's a mistake.
Yeah, he just accidentally fell into the car and was waving. He fell in that car, just happened to land on the gas pedal and steer all the way to the car and wave out the window by accident.
So this is the prosecutor describing the charges the next day.
That just came to light since we've been here at court to add
to
this that I'd like to share with you, so you're aware.
Mr. Crane, you can have a seat, sir. Sure.
Since I entered the courtroom, the victim advocate wanted to talk to me along with the victim. It was brought to my attention that the victim received a phone call at 1:46 since she was here at the courthouse.
No way.
This is what's reported to me, Your Honor. It was from a phone number other than the defendant, but it was the defendant's voice recognized by the victim that said one word, the word leave.
All right. You can have a seat right there.
So there is, if you go to this original video, there is hour-long discussion about whether he made this phone call from the car. The attorney swears he was in the car with the defendant at the time the phone call was made, so he couldn't have possibly made it. There was all this discussion in the chat about spoofing numbers and everything else because the defense attorney did not seem to think that that was possible. He said, look at his phone. There's nothing in the call history, so he didn't make the call. And it wasn't from his number. He didn't make the call. So it is quite an interesting hearing. But
pull up the chat logs or whatever.
Yeah. So the defense attorney is a lot to handle. Remember how you talked about the one earlier?
Yeah.
Okay.
Real quick before you start.
Yeah.
Your chat, there is a heated debate going on. Do we think that his hair is a toupee? That looks real to me.
I'm not getting in that debate. I don't know, and I'm not getting it.
I don't want to know. Judge Dad, everything is real.
There's
Judge
some
Dad.
things I just don't need to know in life. That's very rare because I usually need to know everything. That's on that. No.
That's like when you're parents, you just believe they're superheroes your entire childhood, like they can just do everything. We don't need to know whether or not it's real. It's real to us, damn it.
Yeah, it looks good. That's all I care
Yes.
about.
Yes, it does.
Hey, this is my real hair, guys. Just want you to know, like split ends, knots, and all. It's all real.
He's got straight Ric Flair vibes. That's what we're saying in the chat. I believe it. Jet setting and
Talk
what
fast,
is it?
so anywhere
Flying,
between,
jet
trying to
flying.
find the truth and justice.
Of course.
And the truth of the matter is, my client sent a text to Kayla at 6:06 p.m. on Tuesday, the day we were in court.
Oh, the receipts.
Now, another truth is, if you look at that phone and do a forensic dump that I've offered, and I'll consent to release of it this moment while he's in custody or anywhere in between, that he attempted to unsend that and thought he had done it. Otherwise, he might have called me and said, hey, I just screwed up. But he didn't. What he did do is after he sent an unintended or a text to an unintended recipient, he immediately then turned around at 6:08 and texted his daughter. And then again at 6:11, and not hearing from her, texted his mother. Now, what he's now establishing like an alibi for this. He's establishing a defense when he gets called into court on a bond violation. Oh, I've got it all figured out. I'll show him this is why I did it. That's preposterous. The man plows snow for a living, but he's sophisticated enough to use some robocall as he's sitting in my vehicle. As we're told about a hearing about an hour and a half ago, he put it all together and figured out how to do a robocall and called this complainant and said, leave. How was that even possible?
I didn't say he did it.
Well,
I did not. If you listen to me carefully, I said him or somebody else.
Well, okay, but they didn't say somebody else's voice. They said it was his. And this witness sat up there and told you on the basis of one word. And while she hesitated to say she can't be completely certain, I believe it's him. Now, Judge, we didn't even find out about this until later this morning.
Well, no.
And so, but you have to understand, so how is it that he established this timeline?
What was that?
He's not making a bad case. Like he's kind of got Judge Dad back on his heels a little bit. I haven't seen all this. I don't know where it goes.
Yeah, but he's talking in circles. He's made this argument like 10 times and it's been shot down 10 times.
Oh, okay.
Somebody came in and testified, well, yeah, that's possible to, spoof a number and do this and do that. This guy just gets so worked up and just keeps going and going and going and saying the same thing like 27 times.
Oh, okay.
Text back at 6:08 and 6:11 and then 6:15 with his mother thinking that this was going to come up. I mean, that's like creating the alibi, before the crime is even reported. This doesn't make any sense, Judge. It just doesn't.
So all these were just a mistake. It's your
No, absolutely. Hey, Judge, the other day I went to text an opposing counsel, Chris, and sent her a copy of the Michigan bad government regarding surrendering of your license. And you know who I sent it to? Chris Creighton, my son's head football coach at Eastern Michigan. Now that was embarrassing. That I sent a private communication between me and opposing counsel, Chris Anderson, and I sent it to the head football coach at Eastern Michigan.
Why are you telling us this?
Admit to violating confidentiality on the record. I'm just saying.
What is going on? Why is he?
He's just out of control. I don't know. It was.
And I'm a lawyer, and I'm here to tell you I make mistakes.
Of course.
And so he's got 3 Ks in his life: Kayla, Kristen, Kylie, and he sent it to the wrong one. And as soon as he realized it, he tried to undo it and thought he did, and then he went and took care of what he tried to do, his business, so to speak. Now, and that's all in that phone, and it can be analyzed and be discovered. I'm not trying to hide anything.
You can feel free to have it analyzed.
But Judge,
I'm not ordering them to, and the court's not about to undertake that.
Okay, I appreciate that. And
he wanted the court to take the phones and go have them analyzed to find out if they made this call. They're just like, we're not spending money on that. Like, we don't have money for anything.
Yeah, and obviously it didn't come from his phone anyways. He just admitted on the record it's impossible it came from his phone. But
no, it's not
insinuation-
impossible. He could have had some auto dialer app in the background. It just didn't come from his main.
Oh, well, wouldn't it just be easier to go to a buddy and just say, hey, call this number and say, what was it, afraid or leave or something?
Leave, but she said she recognized his voice. So, it was something happened that creeped her out, and she testified that nobody uses that phone number except the court. And he knew it, but it wasn't a phone number that she gave out to a bunch of people. So it was very disturbing to her.
Yeah. Bottom line, he has put her in a situation where just a phone call saying leave is making her afraid. And that's the real problem here.
And they're already there from the violation from the text message that he sent her that was a mistake. Yeah. And then previously he drove by, but that didn't happen, but it did. And
yeah, all these coincidences just happened to be this one girl. Oh, so strange.
Yeah, so it was all pretty much up to the judge whether he believed him or not.
The court's convinced. Did I let you finish?
Hey, Judge, I'm not going to stop the train.
I know. I'm just asking if I let you finish. The court is convinced somebody called and said leave. The testimony was that the belief was that it was the defendant.
Bubba.
I told the defendant not to have contact. He was told that by my co-judge here, my colleague who set the bond, I believe, initially, not to have contact. He had contact last week. I admonished him on Tuesday. I didn't forfeit his bond. I didn't revoke the release. And I'm just convinced he had contact, not on 1, but on 2 occasions, now 3, if you include the one last week. The bond's forfeited. I won't set 10,000 cash. It is going to be 4,000 cash. Do it again, and we're going to have a big problem. Take her out of your phone. Do whatever you got to do. 4,000 cash. Bond conditions otherwise continued. I will see everybody here. Counsel, I signed your order.
Yeah, thank you.
You have a funeral. I understand. I'm sorry for your loss. We're going to do it March the 7th at 10, but you can't ask me for another adjournment, okay?
So, I don't know exactly what happened, but he was violated, and third violation gets elevated to the circuit court. And guess where he landed?
We circled all the way back. Everything
Just Thomas.
Nice.
And fortunately, by this point, you can see him here in the upper right-hand corner. He has learned to shut his mouth because in Judge Dad's courtroom, he ran his mouth nonstop during all those hearings and was interrupting and jumping in to the point where Judge Dad finally told him, sit down and shut up. This is not helping you. So here he kind of lets his lawyers do their thing. And
which one is he? Stephen Crane?
Yeah, he was violated. Yes, that was his third TPO violation. So, yeah, he was third offense, and he's a repeat offender. It had happened a couple years previous. I think the lawyer pops on in just a second.
Okay.
Case is Stephen Crane. Case number 23-1114. The people of the state of Michigan versus Stephen Crane, scheduled today for a docket conference. Appearances, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. John KCP number 56162 on behalf of the people.
Is it bad that I've watched this judge so much that I know John Casey's P number by heart?
And good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Jeff McCurdy, P42633.
And what are we doing, counsel?
You never
Crane
know.
on Zoom.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Please state your name for the record.
Stephen Crane.
Thank you. Counsel, what are we doing?
Line drawing, Judge.
Mr. Casey, what's
Yeah.
Now, this is a domestic violence case. I'm not seeing an offer at this time. The count one is that's the wrong one. Domestic violence, third offense notice of 5-year maximum felony.
At a single count?
Single count, correct.
Mr. Counsel, who have you been able to talk to in the domestic violence unit?
I have not been able to talk to anybody in that unit. I was advised that
There he is.
Miss Gerard would be contacting me with respect to an offer, and I've not heard any.
Nobody's gonna contact you.
I get it. So then let's just blind draw. I don't, it's fine.
All right, well, I don't need it sitting and lingering. Are you prepared to take the names of the prosecutors who you should reach out to?
Yes.
Mr. Casey, assist the gentleman.
Yeah, reach out to APA Susie Tuil. She's the deputy chief of the division there. Kelly Gleason, if Ms. Tuil's not available. There's also APA Larry King.
Oh, what cracks me up.
He's a good contact point if those two are tied up. Mr. Ard's unavailable at the moment.
Very well.
They're having
Emma,
some
give me
staffing
calendar
issues
conference.
there.
This will remain on my docket.
Yes, ma'am. Your calendar conference date will be June 9th.
You may appear by Zoom. Reach out,
Thank you, Judge.
see if you can settle the matter before that date.
Will do. Thank you, Judge.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So, nothing fun there. I can't find where anything happened on June 9th either, so it looks like this one is just lingering on. He's probably going to make a deal and settle, but he's still on the watch list. We're still watching to see what happens with him. He still hasn't got his hand smacked hard enough yet, but so far, no further violations, so that's a good thing at least.
Man, you're so good at this. You keep up with the earrings. Hi, puppy. Hi, his little curls. It's so cute.
Yeah. Okay.
At
She
least
likes
we got an
to have
update
staring
from
contests.
Crazy Attorney Man. We got to see him like live in 4K.
Yeah, he's bizarre. Oh.
Oh, I got
I wish I could show the little super sticker. It was pretty diamond.
Yeah, it's diamonds.
Diamonds are a
Diamonds
girl's best
forever.
friend, but not as much as fur
Shine
babies.
bright like a diamond. Oh, I'm gonna get you demonetized. My bad.
Yeah, right. Don't sing it. I'm probably already demonetized. They demonetize me every time.
Yeah, it's like nothing. You wag your finger the wrong way, and they're like, "Boop, demonetized."
Oh, my lives were like auto demonetized. That's why I started doing the recorded ones again. They told me I had to do lives after they demonetized me for a whole month. I had to do lives. So I start doing lives, and then they start demonetizing every single live within a minute.
Wow.
Could you tell me what you want? I'll gladly do it, but like make up your mind. Like I don't know.
I just start my stream off with a copyrighted content video just to get it out of the way. Just rip the Band-Aid off from the beginning, you know? Just get rid of that monetization right out the rip.
Oh, Lordy me. Okay, so we got 2 left. Boy, I didn't expect this to go this long. All right, so do you guys remember? Oh, Miss Scram Tamper. So she was in Judge Webster's courtroom because she kept messing with her Scram. And Scram, if you don't know what Scram is, I got a great video on a guy that got, I think it was like a 0.001 and they violated him on it. So I did a bunch of research on Scram and how it works. So it's got all kinds of information, but it basically it's testing your perspiration in your skin for alcohol. And so what she did was she tried to put some kind of cloth between the Scram and her leg, thinking that that would block it, but it was porous, so it went straight through, and she still got violated.
Nice.
So this is what happened. They actually called the person that works for Scram to the hearing because nobody else was technically qualified to explain the violations. Probation couldn't say exactly how it was violated. So
no, she had
She's rocking
multiple
a sweet
violations.
Kiss t-shirt.
So the one
She's
at the
got
bottom.
A woman of good taste. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was Megan.
Megan is the one who got violated. The Kelsey at the bottom, that's the one that works for Scram. Norris is her
That's
attorney.
what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was gonna think of one person violating their Scram, it's the sweetheart in the Kiss t-shirt. Again, another girl I could see getting down with. You know, have a few wine coolies, listen to some Kiss. Sounds like a good Sunday.
Wine coolies.
Okay,
Some Barbara James.
like a couple violations.
I can. We've got 5 alcohol consumption events and 27 tamper events. Some of the tamper events were tampers with alcohol.
I don't think
Darryl
anyone.
Brooks. No, Daryl Brooks. I've had enough Daryl Brooks.
So she actually got violated for both. Oh, I forgot one. Sorry. So she got violated for both tampering with it and having the alcohol go through the tamper and trigger it. So she got like a double whammy for those.
Well, we got Judge Webster coming in
If you're
hot.
shy
Let's
of
go.
this hearing or participating in it, can fail to see the strong addiction this woman has to alcohol. There will be some jail sanctions, but I'm going to also take Mr. Patterson and Miss Donovan and I think Miss Pinkley's advice and hold off on further orders until you complete miracles.
It's fun.
And that includes not only their
Yeah, that's what I was
inpatient
laughing at. She
treatment,
thirsty. Great name, by the way, Glitter Fart.
but their outpatient as well. So I want you to completely graduate from inpatient. And then I want you to completely graduate from outpatient. You really open up to those people at Miracles. You really take their advice because this is probably the last chance you're going to get before a lot of other things start happening if you don't.
Poor thing. It sounds like she's really
You want a
struggling.
good life, you want to get your life back and get out of trouble, listen to them. Also, I want you to stay in touch with Miss Donovan. She's still your probation officer for the next year. And I want you to sign any releases or any documents she needs so that she can keep constant tab on you and make sure you're towing the line
Yeah,
and
same.
doing whatever else you need to do. All previous conditions will remain in place. And if you need Miss Donovan to review those with you, I'm sure she can do that.
So that was, geez, like 2 months ago, maybe 3. So here we are. This was
Oh, there she is.
A
She
week or
looks so
two
much
ago,
different.
right? So this is a week or two ago, and this is what happened. I think all of us were pretty sure that she was not going to be successful,
I had hope for
considering
her.
the number of violations she had.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was ridiculous. But this
Honestly,
is
I am in recovery, and I've been in and out of the system frequently, and it is a crapshoot who ends up becoming clean, and who I've seen people that I was dead certain were gonna make it. Like they were all about the 12 steps and all in it, and then see them a month later and they're completely off the rails. And then you see the guy who you think is never gonna get there, like he's just a total walking mess. And then same thing, you see a month later and he's clean, he's got his life together. So it really comes down to who wants to put in the work. And if she was able to do that, I think that's an amazing accomplishment. She should be very proud.
yes, she didn't seem like she was ready to put in the work during the last hearing. She was very flippant and, didn't care. So the fact that when she came on the screen and looked like this, I was like, holy crap, that's
Good for her.
amazing. Yeah. So here we go. I haven't
And
actually watched
Court Service Officer Christine Donovan is here. This matter does come on for hearing on a warrant to show cause why probation should not be revoked.
Can I just say I love all the macrame plant hangers in the background? That's awesome. I would love to do that on my background.
The defendant
She's got a
was
green
sentenced
thumb.
September 20th of 2021 for DUI to a 6-month sentence with 1 year court services probation. Her first warrant to show cause
Wow,
hearing
that's amazing.
was April 18th.
Cute beagle and
First
cute
warrant to
chihuahua,
show cause
too.
was filed April 18th of 2022. It was alleged at that time she failed to pay as ordered. She failed to serve 48 hours in jail as ordered, and she failed to refrain from using alcohol and drugs. So July 11th of 2021, a hearing was held on those allegations. Probation was revoked after she was found in violation and ordered to serve the original 48 hours as a sanction, apparently. She was reinstated for 12 months. On December 20th, 2022, a second warrant to show cause was filed alleging she failed to remain compliant with her SCRAM and failed to retain or refrain from possession or consumption of alcohol. There was an
God, can you
addendum
pause?
filed March 23rd.
Debbie Faison Cook, that chihuahua we just saw just passed away last week. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's awful. The chihuahua we just saw in the little picture just passed away. Looked really cute. I'm so sorry. That's terrible.
Oh,
It's
Debbie,
really
I'm
hard.
so sorry.
Yeah, it's really hard when you lose a pet. He's such a cutie too. That's awful. I'm so sorry, Debbie.
Debbie, email me and I'll make you an ornament.
Hearts in the chat for you. We're all with you.
Yeah, that is, oh. It is. It takes a long time to be able to deal with that. Sorry, I missed that one.
Of 2023, and I think that pretty well sets out the hearing, the history of this case as well. So at this time, Mr. Patterson, how does your client wish to proceed on these allegations that she has violated her probation?
Your Honor, just a last piece of additional history in the case. We were last here on March 27, 2023. At that time, the court did find violations. The court did set disposition over. The reason disposition was set over, it was at the request, of course, of the defense, but I think Ms. Donovan also had agreed with that there was a bed open for an inpatient treatment facility, and there was I guess a desire to see how well she was going to do in that, whether she was going to stick with it or not. And based upon that, the court was setting disposition over. I have received a discharge report. I believe I had emailed it to the court that she had successfully completed that treatment. And they were further recommending she enter into an outpatient program as well as some other things. It's my understanding that she is currently an outpatient, that she is doing the things that she's required to do and being successful at it. For purposes of disposition, Judge, given that we believe she's doing everything that she should be doing and doing it well,
Did
I
anybody
guess,
see the guy crying
given
in the corner?
the circumstances the court set out and where she was at previously and how bad the addiction was, to have her successfully go through the things she's doing, that we would ask the court to consider that in disposition and order that she be reinstated for 1 year, continue to complete all of the things that she is to complete. We'd ask the court to consider transferring it to Sedgwick County, where she is currently living and on probation with Sedgwick County District Courts.
They can clone your dog. I mean, what's the difference? That's doing it naturally. I think it depends on how you get rid of them, though, whether it's okay or not.
Services so that she could report one place and continue to do the things that she's doing.
What are her Sedgwick County charges?
I don't have that, Judge, so that might be Miss Donovan's.
Ms. Donovan, do you know what she's on probation in Sedgwick County for?
Your Honor, that is also a DUI case. And she
Before or
had,
after- Was that before or after Butler County's DUI?
actually, this case was not a violation. It was before
Okay.
this probation.
That'll
And
prove
Your
it.
Honor, she does have another pending matter in Sedgwick County currently.
And what is that?
That is for
Yeah, you put
interference
together
with
great
law
little
enforcement.
packages.
It is a misdemeanor case.
Try.
And when did that allegedly occur, if you know?
That is tied to this case, Your Honor.
This guy is
Let's
mowing his
see.
lawn
January 11th, 2023.
on the bottom.
Okay. And the state's response at this time to disposition?
Is he seriously mowing his lawn?
Yeah, you missed it too. Gidordo Cortez came in and he was crying. It's like the weirdest people in the background. It's so strange. What's going on? We got Kim. Looks like he's got a rash on his neck. Like, what is happening?
There is like no respect for the court anymore. Like if you had to go to court, you would have to like be sitting there for hours. And these
Yeah.
people like won't take 5 minutes to sit in a decent spot and just sit there.
Some of them
don't
can't even put
understand it.
clothes on. I've seen a lot of hearings
my
where people
gosh.
show up the shirts off.
I have one where the dude is absolutely naked under his blanket. Completely naked. And the judge is like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, I got kicked out in the middle of the night. And I didn't have any clothes."
Firefighter food fairy. Oh, I spent a couple years in the fire service. That's an awesome picture.
Oh, she loves to bring food to firefighters.
Oh,
That's
okay. She's a
my friend.
firefighter fan.
She is the food fairy. She is a baker and chef who makes amazing things and delivers them to the firemen.
That is awesome. I used to love people that do that. A lot of pizza places would show up and donate like 12 pizzas when we were fighting a really big fire. And I'll tell you, man, when you're in the middle of that and you're like all sweaty, you take off your helmet and the bit thing around your neck and chow down. You're a saint, my friend. God love you.
Hey, I'm
Doing the
curious,
God's work.
since we have people here in the chat, you guys tell me, do you think food fairies should start a not like a lot lizard? Don't they call them like fireflies or something like that?
Yes.
What's the name for them?
Definitely a real thing.
I totally watched Chicago Fire, I'm not gonna lie. So you guys let me know if you think Food Fairy should start a channel. Would you be interested in watching her taking a big
Yes.
basket of baked goods to all these hot, sweaty firefighters and
Start a
watching
channel
them
and also
devour it?
Also start a bakery with all firefighting themed and fire themed baked goods. I
Mm.
can't, that's a hit right there. And I would subscribe.
Yeah. All right. There you go. There you go, Food Fairy.
Like fire
There's
truck
your-
shaped cookies and then like flaming cupcakes. I could see it. Like the icing is the flame on the top.
The little multicolored flame. Yeah, with
Yeah,
some little
flaming
crystals.
cupcakes.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
5-alarm
Okay.
brownies, like spicy infused brownies. So much you could do. So much you could do with that.
You have so many ideas.
Yeah, hit me up.
Let's brainstorm. All right. Here we go. Let's see what Megan's in for. So they were just going over the previous charges, and that's what she was charged with in July of last year. And she didn't actually get to court until earlier this year on those charges.
Yes, Your Honor. So I can tell the court that I think Mr. Patterson's
That's
kind of
awesome.
chronological recitation of where we're at today is all correct. I did receive an email from Miss Donovan kind of outlining where Miss Barnett is and what she's been doing since the last court date as it relates to treatment. And Miss Donovan, I'm sure, can provide more detail if needed, but it looks like she is attempting to work with treatment providers. It looks like maybe there was an issue with a UA that needed to be submitted that wasn't, that is kind of delaying a placement maybe in a sober living, but there's some thought that she needs inpatient or a sober living house. Her inpatient counselor felt like she needed to be in sober living house. Looks like she is attending some AA meetings, has a job interview. I don't know. Generally, my position on warrant to show causes is that there has to be some form of accountability. I'm not sure how Ms. Donovan feels on a jail sanction, but I feel like there has to be some form of a jail sanction. It sounds like Ms. Donovan, at least the tenor of her email, makes it sound like she is making some efforts. So it sounds like, I think the state would probably ask that she be placed back on probation, but I do feel like there has to be some form of accountability in the way of a jail sanction. Would ask that she be placed back on probation with all the same and previously ordered conditions, and just basically to follow through with all these treatment recommendations as well as any aftercare recommendations.
Can you pause?
Oh,
So,
well, that wasn't a pause, but yes.
so I'm just trying to translate this. She missed a urine exam, and now he's recommending she go to jail.
And it looks like she didn't do exactly what she was supposed to do treatment wise. I'm not sure. It sounds like they wanted her in a group home and she didn't do that.
They recommended sober living. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
just housing for people that are sober. And so she just went back home and attended AA, but they wanted her like doing treatment, basically not inpatient, but full time in a sober living house. And she
Right.
ignored them.
So there's
Okay.
some kind of accountability, because I think right now there's nobody monitoring her. So
Yeah.
she could technically go and drink and there's nobody overseeing her.
Yeah, because even a UA test once a week, you could basically drink 5 nights a week and they wouldn't know.
Right. I hit the button, so let me
And
see.
sober living house. The
I'm sorry
tenor
about that.
of her
Oh,
email
no, I-
makes it sound like she is making some efforts. So it sounds like, I think the state would probably ask that she be placed back on probation, but I do feel like there has to be some form of accountability in the way of a jail sanction. Would ask that she be placed back on probation with all the same and previously ordered conditions, and just basically to follow through with all these treatment recommendations as well as any aftercare recommendations. That would be about it, Your Honor.
Oh, we're so close to
Ms.
150.
Donovan, could you provide us with anything additionally in your opinions that haven't been addressed so far?
Yes, Your Honor. So I've actually had an opportunity to speak with Ms. Barnett's counselor this past week, and she actually forwarded some documentation to me regarding the defendant's attendance at outpatient treatment. Megan is attending, albeit some hit and miss. There's been a couple of weeks with no attendance in, let's see, April 22nd to April 28th that week. She missed a group, May 6th to May 12th, no attendance at all. And May 20th to May 26th, no attendance. On May 19th, the counselor was concerned. She did request a UA when Megan attended treatment, and she did leave the facility without providing that UA, which raises some, red flags or concerns. So she is attending, just not consistently. In my opinion, could be attending regularly because 2 of these groups are by Zoom. Only one of them is in person each week. So just needs to be doing better with that and needs to be, submitting UAs for accountability when her counselor asks for them. She is attending mental health treatment. I have received verification from Hunter Health. I know that she's been doing that for a while now, and it sounds like she is still continuing to, which is very important. One concern I do have is that upon discharge from inpatient treatment, the counselor, according to her outpatient counselor, also, really was very adamant she needed additional support and accountability in sober living. The defendant reported to me upon discharge that she was going to sober living and provided me the information. So it was my understanding she was residing there. And I only learned on May 31st when she reported that she actually never lived there, never went. There were reasons for that, albeit I understand she had financial difficulty keeping an apartment and residing there and paying. And then I understand she was one of a few females in a male facility. Now, with that being said, probably could have chosen another program, another residential facility if that wasn't going to work out, but I never heard from her again. So I did try to talk to her outpatient counselor and verify what the recommendation is for her currently, and she really couldn't gauge that right now because she hasn't had a UA, there's the hit and miss treatment. So there's just not a good gauge on what's going on right now. So definitely needs to be attending treatment consistently and working the program. And it just kind of sounds like that's not necessarily happening all the
This
time.
could be a wake up call for her.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sure, go ahead.
And I guess I just have to complain about the way this hearing is being handled. I can tell the court I received a discharge report from inpatient treatment, but if we're going to use other reports and other things, I should have those ahead of time. I should have the opportunity to talk about those with my client, try and figure out what there might be concerning those that we need to address. I haven't seen those. I don't know anything about them. So it kind of concerns me that I'm being blindsided here. So I cannot really represent my client. That concerns me, but I would tell the court, understand Mr. Sweeney's position. If the court is ordering sanctions, we would ask the court to allow it to be on weekends so that she can continue with the things that she is doing, her mental health treatment, outpatient treatment, and such, so that she can continue with those and still serve a sanction. Thank you.
Can you pause quick?
My notes.
I know a lot of judges, when you see hearings about people that are struggling with, whether it's alcoholism or addiction, the sobriety and the well-being of that person pursuing that sobriety comes first. So sending somebody to jail, although it might be needed sometimes, if the judge feels like it's going to set that person back, like put them into a territorial relapse, is like a last case scenario, like worst case scenario. So I hope that's what Webster is going to do here, because I do agree with her attorney, like throwing her in jail in the middle of the week, if she did have any hope for a job, is going to go out the window. And if she's pursuing mental health stuff full time during the week, that's not helping her.
Right. And it's odd that the prosecutors tend to ignore that completely and constantly ask for that.
Yeah.
At that hearing on March 27th, say that the defendant requested sentencing be continued to, which would be disposition, to a later date to allow defendant to complete the program prior to sentencing. Judge accepted. Judge ordered that the defendant graduate inpatient and outpatient treatment before sentencing. So you did graduate your inpatient. You did start your outpatient. And I'm sitting here thinking, wonderful, great. But yeah, there needs to be sanctions. And I'm going to order. Do you do any treatment of any kind on the weekends?
No. I have the job interview tomorrow, and that's the only thing I have going on, and then college, and that's not on the weekends.
When is your job? Where's your job interview?
It's at Textron tomorrow at 11 a.m. And then I start college as well.
You start college tomorrow also?
No, not tomorrow. I'm just enrolling today. I just enrolled today.
What college are you going to?
I'm going to WATC for inspection. So when I get the job at Textron, I'm just going to ask to be moved up to inspection. I have a lot of depression issues, and so that's not an excuse not to attend my groups and stuff like that. But I'm like up and down on stuff.
That's fair.
Well, I'm not going to accept up and down. You've got a lot of help and a lot of people to rely on, starting with Miss Donovan, to your alcohol and drug therapist, to your mental health therapist. You've had your attorney. So, you know, you've got people to rely on.
Yeah, that's true. Sobriety needs to come first.
And I understand Mr. Patterson's position. It's a legitimate position about needing this information to go over with you in advance. I'm going to order that the next 8 weekends you serve from Friday to Sunday, 48 hours in the county jail.
Man, that sucks.
Starting this weekend at 7 p.m. And in the meantime, you are to have zero unexcused absences in your treatment, in your probation reporting. I'm not going to change it just yet. I want Ms. Donovan to stay on this.
I agree. It sucks, but I think there's only so many chances you can give someone, and she had multiple violations while she was on the tether, the scram. And so, you know, how many chances do you give them? You've got to implement some kind of punishment at some point in time.
Yeah, and it sounds like, you know, what we talked about is being done here. Like, she understands that during the week she has her responsibilities, and trying to get in the way of those would, you know, step her back. But like you're saying as well, this is a wake-up call for her. Like, going to the weekends, going to jail on the weekends is going to very much be holy crap. Like, I was really close to being back here full time.
And so, maybe it'll make her see how bad it sucks now that her life is, you know, on the mend.
Yeah, looking at it from both perspectives, her going to the jail on the weekends doesn't mess up her progress, but it probably will motivate her to get her ass in gear. And like, this could, like I was really close to this being my reality 24/7 and all my progress being lost. So she's doing what we said. I think it's fair.
Yeah.
For right now, although at some point I do want to be able to change it. And as far as I'm concerned, when a person walks out before they get a UA that's been ordered, that shows that they're dirty. And you better not have any more violations of probation. This is your second time around to be found in violation of probation. So you got to break it, your original sentence, and only had 48 hours, which you didn't serve until you were ordered to in your first probation revocation. Now you've had your second revocation. I think it behooves you to not have any more violations of probation and not come back on a third.
I'd say so. It would behoove you, yes.
So, Ms. Donovan, when do you want her to report to you, or do you prefer I transfer it to Sedgwick County right now?
Your Honor, I will leave that to the court's discretion. As far as transferring, she does need to contact me after court today. One other issue of concern is her probation expiration date. And it looks like that is going to expire, Your Honor, in July 11th.
All right, extended 12 more months from today. But Miss Barnett, if you had gotten in here and taken care of this in a timely fashion, you could have been off probation, even with a year probation. You could have been off probation by the fall of 2022. And now here we're going in another year. So
Yeah, now we're going backwards. So it's
Yeah,
too
it's
bad.
my
I said, you better,
alcohol addiction.
I understand it's an addiction, but you still have accountability. I can't
Yeah,
just
you
turn you
shouldn't be
loose to
saying
go out
that
there
to
and
the
stay
judge.
drunk. I just can't do that. You've got to get your life back on track.
Yeah.
Can I at least please be transferred to Wichita? Just for have one probation instead of on 3?
Well, you have 3 cases, so I don't think 2 probation officers right now is unreasonable.
I have 3.
All right, I don't think 3 probation officers for 3 cases. You know, you had separate cases, you got into separate incidents, so.
Wait,
you know,
really?
you
That
have
sucks.
Separate consequences. And Ms. Barnett, I'm afraid your attitude isn't exactly stellar today, so.
Yeah.
I'm just sad about it. I really want to be transferred, and I really want to be transferred to Texas as well.
Well, you
And
should have
I
been
just feel
doing
like
your
I'm just going in
shit.
circles.
You said Texas?
Yeah, I would like to be transferred to Texas to my sisters.
Well, I've got a better idea. Instead of being transferred, how about
Oh,
just
boy.
do everything you're supposed to and get off probation?
Yeah.
Maybe even get off a little early if you start going to all your meetings and not skipping any and not walking out when your counselor tells you to go do a UA. And that would have made a tremendous difference in this hearing today if you
Yeah.
didn't have.
I'm sorry.
But you need to make minimal payments, although that's the least of your problem, but you do need to keep going to those appointments and comply with those and don't get any new violations, of course. So, all right, if there's nothing
Can you pause
further,
quick?
we will be in recess on the Barnett matter. Probation again is extended for 12 months from today.
That is the end.
Oh, okay.
So-
I think there is something to be said for somebody who's struggling with depression being up and down and not being consistent. So there is a certain amount of understandability for me for that. But your sobriety needs to come even before your mental, as much as taking care of your mental health is important, your sobriety needs to come first. Because if you're not sober, you're not going to be able to manage your mental health responsibilities. So it sucks that she was there feeling depressed or whatever, but she should have still been paying attention to her sobriety responsibilities, because she's never going to get out of that place of being depressed if she's not making sure that she's sober. Because she was probably, when you're depressed like that is when you are high risk for relapse. So no matter what's going on in your life, it's an everyday thing. Like, I'm sorry that it sucks you don't want to get out of bed, but you got to manage your sobriety. So I feel bad for her, but like she said, her not taking a urine analysis is basically the same thing as pissing dirty. It's the same thing.
Yeah. You can't just directly thumb your nose at court orders and expect to get what you want. You know, I want transferred. Well, you didn't do what you were supposed to do, so why are we going to give you the bonus on top of that?
Yeah, very true. I know that's one thing judges hate too, is when they feel like they're being ignored.
Yeah. That, you just don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we have 2 more, and these are not as long. But while we're on the topic of mental health, I know some of you guys know I did this stream on mental health that we need to talk about. And there was the defendant who showed up in Judge Stevens' courtroom who likes to walk. And he wasn't sure what to do with her.
That's the problem.
Likes to walk?
Here's what she's incompetent.
I guess it requires the court to then have a hearing on whether or not the individual could be sent to a residential treatment facility. But part of that consideration, I think, is whether.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. I think I just put in the wrong one. My bad.
You're good. You're good.
What I get for doing it while I was on here.
What does that mean? Likes to walk? Are we gonna find out, or is that?
That's just what she said.
Oh, okay. I don't want to bury the lead.
So this is. She likes to walk. That's what she does.
physician certificates, 1 cover page, and a trial competency evaluation report, all stating that the defendant was evaluated by 3
Tried
different physicians
Costco or
and
Sam's
is
brand
deemed to be
vodka. No, can't say I have.
Hey, how are you?
competent to stand trial at this time.
Another lawyer in his car.
Yes. I would like to know that too. I never quite understood that.
It's because in the wild they're like out in the woods and they mat down everything into a little what they call like a nest. So imagine if they're out in the woods, they'd be circling all the leaves around them to make like a little bed.
See, you know what else I learned the other day? Do you know why they all like congregate in the bathroom when you have to pee? Like I go to pee and all of a sudden I have 5 furry things staring at me and it creeps me out. Like they'll bust down the door to get in there. Someone told me that the other day because when you're using the bathroom, you are at your most vulnerable. So in the wild, they circle around to protect you.
Oh,
I was like,
look at
son of
that.
a bitch. How did I never know this?
That's so sweet.
Okay, so this is Whitney. Whitney has multiple charges. She's got some assaults and trespassing, and I think she had a car she wasn't supposed to have. And so they ordered a mental health evaluation, and I believe they got 3. And Judge Stevens just received the evaluation and is trying to figure out what to do.
And is unlikely to be restored within the time allotted by statute. Treatment options include continued psychiatric treatment, monitoring, mental health services, and further education about procedure and legal options associated with criminal legal proceedings is recommended here. As the defendant is deemed to be diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Shh.
Puppy, oh puppy.
Stop it.
They just want to be.
Sorry, I paused it.
And has achieved maximum benefit from inpatient hospitalizations. Her symptoms have not responded to current and multiple previous treatment trials. And she is determined to be incompetent to stand trial and unlikely to be restored within the time, restored to competency within the time allotted by the statute. Is the opinion of the treatment team that Ms. Carlisle has achieved maximum benefit here and requires the extended commitment for outpatient mental health treatment. And
So extended commitment for outpatient mental health treatment. However, she lives a transient lifestyle and moves from place to place to place across the state or multiple states, has no stable form of housing at all. So this became this huge discussion in Judge Stevens' courtroom. What do we do with her? She can't get outpatient treatment because she has no transportation, she has no housing, and she's not going to stay in the area. She's going to take off.
Yeah.
So they talked to her about whether she had family. She said she had a great grandmother, and that didn't really add up when I looked at her age. So she would be like 100.
Things aren't making a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, and Judge Stevens doesn't know what to do with her. He doesn't want to just release her and put her back out on the street because she needs treatment, but he doesn't have a program that she fits in. So he kind of told the attorneys, figure something out.
it says you're a transient. Where's your family?
We're just walking. Well, okay, no.
Yeah, where's your family?
She says it like 100 times. I was just walking.
I'm from Austin.
Austin. Okay.
Yeah.
Is family still there? Do you still?
A little bit, but yeah, not a whole lot of family, but I got some family walking. But I mean, on
Who's your closest relative?
I have a great grandmother. But on the paper
Wow.
yesterday, it said that I'm capable of taking care of myself. I was doing just fine. I worked for FedEx for 10 years. I just stopped working and I stopped working and I started walking. That's all. I got arrested for assault because someone put their hands on me.
How about, well, it sounds like
But
an assault is different from walking.
Right. Hey, really.
We let her just.
Assault is different from walking. You don't say.
Yeah. So she's she was she said that she found a treatment for her schizophrenia that helps, and it's prenatal vitamins. And they agreed to give her those at the jail.
Is she serious? Prenatal vitamins?
Well, who knows? I mean, you can tell by the judge's face. So he
Sounds
told
like
them,
she needs like some serious mental health. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
yes, she does, but she's not bad enough that she needs an inpatient facility. She can function on her own if she had a place to stay, and she could do outpatient. So that's where the problem was. So he told them to go figure something out and come back to me. And I think this is hearing number 2 where
I mean, that's the
they
problem.
come back.
Can't really. Here's what she's incompetent.
Oh.
I guess,
Sorry, this is hearing number 3. So he sent them back multiple times. They can't figure anything out. This is hearing number 3, which just happened a couple weeks ago. And this has been ongoing since, I think, February.
Is she in jail this whole
it
time?
requires the court to then have a hearing on whether or not the individual could be sent to a residential treatment facility. But part of that consideration, I think, is whether or not the individual would be a danger to society, and if they would.
All right, here, we're gonna play lawyers. Y'all gotta give me something here.
Yes, the mental health evaluation said she has schizophrenia. She needs intensive outpatient treatment. She is not competent to stand trial, but needs outpatient treatment. So they have no, like, nothing saying she needs inpatient treatment to send her to a facility where she could be housed. So where is she going to live if they release her? That's the whole problem he's trying to find. Where can I house this woman?
Why is it his responsibility to find housing for her?
Well, it's not, but if he signs an order releasing her, she's going to get put back on the street. And he doesn't want to do that. He wants to find treatment for her. He is a very caring judge. He wants,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, she could theoretically do outpatient treatment while she's on the street, though, yeah?
She probably wouldn't, I think, is the
Yeah.
problem. Because she's,
Okay.
you know,
Right.
in and out.
I want a brief from each of you on what we should do. So as soon as possible, because this lady, needs to move forward. But I don't see anything here, and we have a hearing on this, but
You don't have a brief.
no, in a week.
1 week.
Right. That's.
So he wants a written brief from each side.
But I'm.
Lawyers don't care.
In the dark right now on it. Yeah. Y'all are the advocates. Y'all need to help me.
I think I have all of it, Your Honor, so I'll be able to do that pretty sure.
All right, doesn't have to be just succinct. Thank you. All right, we'll see you back in 1 week.
And I think part of it, it's not just that the judge wants it, it's that the defense lawyers arguing, you know, you can't just put her out on the street type of thing.
So if that's the situation they're in where they can't just dump her back on the street, can't the judge put an order in even though they're saying she doesn't require inpatient treatment for her to put her into a mental health facility? Like, I don't care what.
I don't think so. I think I'm not positive. I'm not positive how it works. So, I mean, I don't want to say for sure, but I believe you have to have documentation or evidence to back it up. To say
schizophrenia, that's a pretty severe. I'm surprised they're not recommending it.
But people can function with it. I mean, it's not an automatic, you know.
Yeah.
Screw you up.
There are homeless shelters out there that
adulting is no excuse. Really?
What?
Adulting is no excuse to be late.
I didn't say anything about adulting.
Lawrence.
Oh,
Lawrence
okay.
was late because, you know, new job.
oh, okay. I was like so confused.
Really?
Yeah, that's not okay. But no, there are homeless shelters out there that like keep the people that are there. So like if you work a nighttime job, you can stay during the day. And I mean, that could be something they could look into.
Yeah, I think they're trying to find something like that. And they're also trying to find something in Austin, trying to find, you know, a relative or something. You know, there's some people they go above and beyond for. And I think that's just one of those
even
one
a
of those
women's
cases.
shelter, she's probably got some form of trauma or abuse that could get her in there.
I think the thing is she could just walk away from one of those places, and they kind of want her at a place where she can't just walk away because doesn't think she needs treatment, but she does.
Schizophrenic. Yeah.
Yeah. So, last but not least, in my what was supposed to be weekly crime and court report, it didn't work out to be weekly, but I will get back to it, I promise. As soon as I get this house packed up. We first talked about, I showed you missing persons cases, and Bo Mann was one of the cases that I highlighted. Is Bo Mann, and Bo has been missing since 2021. He's adorable, isn't he? He is.
Yeah.
So Bo
bless his heart.
actually had a very
Poor guy.
successful career in technology. He developed an app. So he was last seen. You can see the surveillance picture of him on the flyer. He was last seen in a convenience store. He buys several things. One of them was a bag of ice, I believe. And then he gets into it's an Uber or a Lyft. It was an Uber. It's an Uber. And that's the last anyone hears from him, except he dials 911 texts 911 on his phone.
Ooh.
So it turns out he didn't actually text 911. There was a 911 option in the Uber app that he hit, and the message was kind of jumbled. So they think perhaps that happened by mistake, but it wasn't days after.
That's
Go ahead.
too much of a coincidence. The guy goes missing, and the last thing he ever does is hit 911 in the Uber app. Come
Yeah.
on. Did they find him?
Yes, it was just a couple days after I aired that missing person thing. And I actually found that scrolling through like a massive list of missing people. And I just happened to pick him out because I knew that case. He wasn't at the top of a list or anything else. So it really kind of freaked me out that 2 days later they found him.
Developing news tonight, a missing tech CEO last seen in 2021 has been found dead in Santa Monica. KCAL assignment editor Mike Rogers is live at the desk now with more on this sad ending to what was a mystery, Mike.
Yeah, Pat, this is Bo Mann that we're talking about. He was last seen in November of 2021 when LAPD said he was dropped off by an Uber at a convenience store here in the Valley in Studio City. Now, his fiance had posted on a Facebook group that he manages that Uber ride actually continued to Santa Monica, not far from where the body of Bo Mann was found. Now, Bo apparently started an app that helped people that were struggling with sobriety, helped them get clean, helped them produce that. And so he was the CEO of that. That company had great things to say about him at the time. Now, how he died or what exactly happened is still very unclear.
Yeah, it was absolutely tragic. He did a lot for the
Do we have any details? Like, was it?
So he was found. So after the convenience store where they saw him and they had him on camera, he continued on to an address in Santa Monica. There was no connection to the address at all that they could find anything. And there's so much speculation online. It's hard to tell what's true and what's not true. But the woman who lived in the house has since passed away, and she was not an older woman. So it's, yeah.
The house that he was dropped off at.
Supposedly, yes. And just like a block down the street, there was like abandoned I think they were abandoned apartment type building or something along those lines. And they found his body wrapped up in a mat.
Okay, so foul play.
Well, that's what they said. But then his partner did an interview and mentioned that he thought possibly that he had relapsed. So then it was like, well, was he high and looking for, kind of out of it and just wrapped up in something and something happened? I don't know. But yeah. And then I think they said they're investigating it as a homicide. So
it sounds like a homicide. I mean, even if you wrap yourself up That's different than being found in a mat.
Yeah, something. Well, he was kind of wrapped up in it, but they didn't find him until how much later?
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird because it's not.
And he went to a lady's house who's now also dead.
Yeah, the whole
When
thing
people
is
start
bizarre.
dying like that, that's typically indicative of something we're not seeing.
Yeah, if anybody wants like a deep rabbit hole, go to Web Sleuths and look up his thread.
Wow,
it's
fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it's
what a
it's
great
very
idea for a segment. This is I'm like so riveted right now.
So the last one, in that same welcome to the shit show world report, we talked about the case of Robert Waters, who was arrested, oh gosh, what is it, 30 years later, 40 years later, 30 years later, when DNA evidence helped solve the murder of Kathy Schwartz in Three Rivers, Michigan. And I think I even mentioned at the time, hey, that's Judge Middleton's neck of the woods. They were able to solve a cold case from 1988 when 19-year-old Kathy Sue Schwartz was murdered in her apartment that she shared with her fiance and daughter in Three Rivers, Michigan. We've heard that city before. So Kathy's fiance returned home from work and found her brutally murdered on the bedroom floor. Her daughter, who was 9 months old, was unharmed in her crib. Development. Yeah, so the daughter was left in the crib. Horrific. So I put that up. 2 days later, here comes this.
A cold case
Oh my
investigation
God.
into the 1988 killing of Kathy Schwartz. Robert Odell Waters was found dead in his cell today at a South Carolina detention center. He was awaiting
WTF?
extradition back to Michigan. South Carolina law enforcement have requested a death investigation. The Three Rivers Police Department is expected to make a statement in the coming days after they review the coroner's report.
I mean, I guess it kind of sucks when, you've been living your life thinking you got away with a crime and all of a sudden, like, here come the cops. Oh, by the way, hey, remember that like 35 years ago? Yeah, you're going to jail for the rest of your life. So I'm sitting watching Judge Middleton the other day and...
Good afternoon.
Shut up.
Good afternoon. What case are you here on? You're here on,
Oh, you're talking, I couldn't
Yeah.
tell if you're, no, I was looking for the prosecutor.
oh, well, he's much handsomer than me, but I used to have that job a long time ago.
I love Middleton.
You haven't been down here in a while, but I'm sure you got some interest in that story.
What story is that?
I'm assuming you're here on the
Kathy Schwartz?
homicide case.
Yeah.
I spent more time on that case than any case in my career.
Well, how so?
I tried to solve it for 20 years.
I'm a little confused.
I was prosecutor from 1989 to 2002.
I should know that, but I'm
And
sorry.
she was killed in December of 1988, and I took over as head prosecutor in April of '89. I spent hundreds, if not thousands, of person hours trying to resolve it. As I understand it, this defendant's name was in the report on one page out of about 10,000 pages.
Really?
No way.
And it indicated he had moved in September. And
He missed it.
it wasn't, the murder didn't happen until December. So moral of the story is don't believe everything you read in the police report.
Yeah, I
as
see. So it was
gospel. But
misleading.
Anyway,
So it said he had moved before?
That's what I was told. The report said he had moved. I haven't had access. I've been judge for 22 years, so it's been a long time. But I spent lots of hours reading every line of every police report in that case.
How do you know his name was in one of the reports?
One of the officers told me that. the
Oh,
detective, Sam Smallcombe.
Interesting.
Anyway, unless you'd like to get on landlord tenant court, we're about to begin here.
No, I'd love to.
Middleton.
Well, I'll be here all day.
Would you have a break in the action? at any point?
About 2:30, I think.
That's when I go to the dentist.
Uh,
But I'm bummed. That's a joke.
I'll be
2:30, we'll come back.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, hello, everyone.
Wow.
Go on the record here.
What a great little package you put together here. This is so, I'm riveted.
So that is
Judge Middleton's involvement with the DNA case we talked about a few weeks ago.
Who would have thunk? What a strange world that we live in, that you just happen to cover both these, and then they both, like, what, just a week later or whatever?
Yeah. And that was like over a month ago, because I've had so much going on. I've just kind of sat on it.
You get your finger on the pulse.
I try to stay pretty up to date with missing persons cases and some unsolved homicides, but mostly missing persons cases.
I have a friend that one of her friends got shot in Maine. I'll send you your info if you want, but the circumstances surrounding it are really bizarre. Like, the guy was in a wheelchair, but he was shot at a downward angle from behind. So it's like, how do you do that if you're in a wheelchair? But yeah, I'll send you the details. I was actually going to make a video about it. None of the details make sense, and the police think they know who did it, but they can't. For whatever reason,
can't prove it.
Yeah.
If you like true crime stuff, check out my video, "The Invisible Man." It's a fun one. Guy blows into town, ends up getting married, and then just disappears one day. And to this day, nobody has an idea who he was because he was using a fake ID.
What? Oh, I'm definitely gonna watch that. Those kind of cases drive me insane. Like whatever happened to him, and people that go missing in the woods, and there's all these crazy details about like what happened. Oh, they keep me up at night, but it's such fascinating stuff.
I saw something in the chat. Somebody was talking about missing celebrity and not having information on it. Go to the Web Sleuths website, because I guarantee you there's information on it there. It's just websleuths.com. And search the name and there will be a thread. If he's missing, there's a thread.
Yeah.
And there's information in that thread. I guarantee it. And if there's not, let me know. We'll make one.
Meg, I gotta say, this live stream has been so fun. You do the best live streams. Like, this is so entertaining. Like, you get all the closure and like the cases all, one after another. I'm like learning. You're making me a better content creator over here.
Well, thank you. It's taken me a while to put this all together. I've had it all sitting in a folder for a while, but I do follow up on all the cases that are interesting. I have them on a calendar, and I double check and make sure that I'm getting all the
streams.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Meg is the best.
Iris is pretty awesome too.
A fan. I definitely I subscribed, but I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on your channel, because just from what I've seen today, wow, top tier content. Great job.
Well, it's not always this great, you gotta put some Karen stuff in there to get those get those likes up.
Yeah, right. Get into the algorithm. Well, thank you so much for having me.
I'm so sorry about your baby too. Make sure you email me.
That's too bad. Poor thing.
It's so hard. So yes, we will definitely get together again some other time. I don't know when. I don't know when I will be able to do another live, but
I'd love to do a collab sometime if you'd be down.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Or you could come on one of my live streams, or I do a series called Case Watch, where I open up my Discord to just basically anybody can come on, and pretty fascinating just to hear from subscribers out there. And you watch a lot of Daryl Brooks, unfortunately, because it's all anybody wants to hear. But I'm trying to move away from that, so we're going to be doing a lot more Zoom hearings. But consider yourself permanently invited anytime you want.
Yeah, send me a link next time you do it. Or just let me know. I would love to see how you do that. Okay, you want to say bye to everybody? Come on. Oh gosh.
Oh, so cute.
Thanks for stopping by. Say, I
can't even stand it. He's so cute.
Say, so happy to see everybody again. It's been too long. You gonna show off? You sit pretty? You sit pretty? People just come here for the puppies.
Yeah.
I'm the sideshow. The puppies are the main event.
Definitely think I'm going to steal the pup cam idea, because that is gold. Genius.
All right, everyone. You have a fabulous afternoon, and I will see you next time.
Oh, and check out my channel before you go.
I'm sorry. Oh, let me post that again. Everybody, please make sure you take a moment. Beefy has anxiety. He has been amazing today, and go check out some of those videos. Give him a like, give him a subscribe, and give him some love over there.
I do a podcast too called Bot Noir Radio. If you like true crime. If you guys are familiar with Alistair from Pack Nation, we just covered the Zodiac, and we're doing Dahmer this week. So check that out. Boîte Noir Radio. I'll put the spelling into the chat right here before you go.
Yeah, do that.
Boom, there you go. For the replay crew, too. Thanks again for having me.
All right, take care, all.